It's your tour guide around the SWAC Wells.
Out on the tour bus, so let's go. Wednesday and Sunday out when you can take the tour.
Hop on now, we starting out. Texas land, the Panther shout. Tigers roar and deserts drought. What's that whisper? Ain't no doubt. Next to Boot got Jacks to see. More tigers prowling, making others flee. Arkansas, a quick short spree. Golden Lions, they run free.
Hop on the tour bus, so let's go. Wednesday and Sunday out when you can take the tour.
We love the sip, so we raising cheers. Delta doubles, fueling fears. Braves and Tigers through the years. Echo loud and crowded spheres. Swing through Bama, hear them call. Hornets buzzing, stand up tall. Bulldogs barking in the hall. Feel the rhythm break or fall. Sunshine State, we ending last. Rattlers creeping, moving fast. Join the chorus, make it blast. Wildcats past and future, hold it fast. SWAC stories on the stage. Every chapter turning page.
All right, everybody, what's going on, man? Welcome to another edition of SWAC Talk. Of course, this is the late night flight, recapping the championship games. Thanks to the men's game starting at 8:30, man. We up in here late, so we're not gonna even take a long time, man. Y'all know the spiel. Hit the socials if you can. Like, share, subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into this recap of the men and women's championship games. Southern, number 1 seed, takes on the number 6 seed Alcorn State Lady Braves. The Braves made their way to the championship the same way they did last season, knocking off a 2 seed and a 3 seed to get to the championship, and they come up short again. This was an entertaining game for the first quarter, and then it became a typical Southern basketball game where Southern's defense just basically stymies the other team. And this game, Southern offensively was actually did pretty well, and allowed them to build the lead and maintain a lead and not let Alcorn back into the game. Alcorn scored 20 points in the first quarter, and they scored 12 points in the third quarter. Between the fourth and second quarter, they scored 12 points combined. So those 2 quarters really killed them. The second quarter is what allowed Southern to blow that game open. They outscored Alcorn 16-4 in that quarter. They outscored the Braves 11-8 in the third quarter. 13-8 in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter. So they Southern was able to score 20 points, 16 points, 15 points, and then 13 points per quarter, and that allowed them to lock this game up. Southern has only allowed 44.6 points per game in the tournament. Really a good defensive effort in all 3 games. They did allow Jackson State to get back in the game on last night, but they did not allow this to happen in this game. And that was one of the things that happened when these 2 teams played in Baton Rouge early in the season. Alcorn was able to kind of dictate the game in the interior, and they kind of did that early, but Southern was able to really hold them off and really just put the clamps on them. And Alcorn missed a lot of shots, has multiple turnovers, and Southern was able to get it done, and they advanced to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2023. So a year ago, 2 years ago, they're back. This is another opportunity, and I think this team may be better than that team. Obviously, this team was a regular season champ, and that team was a 4th place team because that Jackson State monster was still there. So I think this is a solid team. We'll see where they go in the tournament. And go from there. This is only the second 20-win season Southern's had in a long time. So this is a very successful season. It's a really historic season, and so they put in the work and they got it. Alcorn was able to get 12 points from Destiny Brown. She finished 4 of 8 from the field and 4 of 5 from the line. She finished with 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 blocks. Also in double figures was Finley with 11. She was 4 of 11 from the field, 1 of 4 from three, 2 of 2 from the line. And that was it in terms of double figures for Alcorn. They shot 35% from the field, 16 of 45. They were 4 of 18 from three for 22%, and 8 of 11 from three from the line for 72%. Finished with 29 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals, and 4 blocks, and 17 turnovers. Also had 17 fouls. Everything that worked for them in the first quarter just could not work anymore. They did a lot of high-low passing to get cutters to the basket, and that kind of stopped working. They started, folding to the pressure a little bit, and they just really never got going. And the 3-point shooting just wasn't there for them in this game, especially after the first quarter. Southern was led by 3 people in double figures. Tiana Lidge had 11 points and 10 rebounds, so she finished with a double-double. Also had 1 block. She was 3 of 4 from the field and 5 of 6 from the line. Also, Dekaya Sanders had 11 points. She also had 4 assists and 1 rebound, 1 steal. She finished 4 of 6 from the field, 3 of 4 from three. She had a couple big threes in the game. And also, Sanaya Reed finished with 11 points and 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. She shot 3 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from three, and 4 of 4 from the line. Anaya Gordine was the tournament MVP. She had 9 points in this game, but she had a lot of big plays for Southern. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Shot 2 of 7 from the field, 1 of 5 from the 3-point line. Southern shot 38% from the field, 21 of 54. They were 6 of 19 from three for 31%, and 16 of 17 from the free throw line for 94%. Really, that's how you win games. You knock down free throws, you put yourself in a great position to win. They finished with 34 rebounds, so they won the rebounding battle. They had 13 assists, they won that. They had 9 steals. That they had more steals than Alcorn. They had 3 blocks, which is 1 less than what Alcorn had, and they had 11 turnovers. And 13 fouls. So really, Southern did everything that you want a team to do in a game like this, and they got the win. And so they advanced to the NCAA tournament, and we'll see where they go, who they play. We'll have a little quick show tomorrow night to kind of talk about whatever matchups that we know of in the postseason for all our teams. And moving on to the men's side of things, and this was a really entertaining game. There were some things that I found a little questionable in terms of tactics, but Bama State continues to win close games. Man, this team has won eight one-possession games, I guess you could say. They just find ways to continue to make the shots that they need to make. They're a team that's not scared to shoot, whether they're making or missing. And that yes, you can shoot yourself out of games like that, but when you have that ability to continue to shoot the ball, even if it's not going in, eventually it will. Some teams when they start off cold, they go away from that, and they just don't worry about it no more. But Bama State, they're a team that continues to chop at that 3-point tree until they knock it down. And that's what happened in this game. First half, they were kind of iffy there. Second half, they started to make those key threes, when they counted, which is what they do. They always hit that back-breaking three on you. They don't necessarily hit 5 threes early, but they always make that three that they need in a game. And that's what happened. Jackson State really just never had full control of this game. I do think that one of the biggest issues Jackson State had in this game was they didn't go deep into their bench. I think they needed to take even if it was like a minute or two, steal some time for your starters to get a breather, because Bama State were rotating guys in, and Jackson State was steady playing the same guys until unfortunately a couple guys went down due to injury. And when that happens, you put yourself in a bad predicament. and you make it tough for you to win because you're asking you guys to do a lot. And of course, it's a championship game. You know, it's a tournament. You know, you don't really want to have a big rotation if you don't have to, but you also don't want to limit yourself um, if you don't have to. And Bama State was able to get a big game from C.J. Hines. He had 20 points in his hometown, so he really showed out in this game. He was 8 of 15 from the field, 4 of 6 from three. He did miss his only free throw. Finished with 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. Big, just a solid game all around. And he was actually the only Hornet to score in double figures. But they had guys constantly making big shots when they needed. Martin Knox hit a big 3-pointer. TJ Madlock had a solid game, even though he didn't really score a lot. He had a solid game. Um, they got a couple big shots from Bass from three, and Fulcher had a couple big free throws and a big 3-pointer. So this was a team effort. It wasn't flashy. They didn't really light it up from three, but they shot the ball when they needed. They made the shots. They were 33% from the field, 22 of 65. They were 9 of 29 from the 3-point line for 31% and 7 of 11 from the free throw line for 63%. Finished with 36 rebounds, 13 assists, 10 steals, 4 blocks, and only 6 turnovers. Again, Bama State is a team that does not turn the ball over, so you have to find a different way to attack this team. You can't really force them into a lot of mistakes. You can't really force them into doing what they don't want to do. And that low turnover number every week almost is indicative of that. And again, in a tournament, in a game that was a grinded out game where both teams were kind of, going all out and really physical, they still didn't make those mistakes. They didn't speed themselves up. They didn't go out of their way to make the extra pass when it wasn't there. They just do what they do, and it works. And so they finished with 16 fouls as well, and that's why they got the win. Jackson State again, only one scoring double figures, and that was Shannon Grant with 20 points. He had a really good game. He had to work for a lot of his buckets, but I always feel like when he is scoring a lot, I feel like that takes away from your other guys. Now they didn't shoot well at all, and they had the opportunities to make shots, but they didn't. But I think when they more cater to him, it kind of takes away from the guard play. And so he did what he needed to do. He was the big body inside, but Bama State constantly threw bodies at him, and they made it so he had to make a move once he catches. And then if he makes it, he makes it. If not, then you got a decent chance of getting a rebound and running with it. But he had a good game, and he's had a great 5 or 6 game stretch of the season late, where he just was the dominant force that he's built as. And he did everything he could in this game. I do think they played him a couple minutes too long. Not that it really impacted him much, but I think a guy like that, he doesn't need to be playing 39 minutes, especially in a game like that. Still a minute or two for him to rest and allow your smaller lineup to kind of match up better with Bama State and kind of maybe even get the tempo up to your liking. But all in all, 20 points for Grant, 8 of 12 from the field, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 blocks. Other than that, McMillan had 9 points, Ruffin had 9 points, and Jamie Mitchell had 9 points before he went down with injury. And that was a game changer to me because in the first half he had 3 3-pointers, and I think that's a guy that can spot up and knock down that 3, and kind of open up some more things. When the ball gets ragged and the play gets ragged, he can spot up and knock down that shot. And so a guy like that not being available after half, that's a game changer. And then of course Kevion Hunt going down, that's another game changer. And now you're kind of forced to get minutes from other guys who you hadn't really put in the game, and it didn't really hurt them a lot, like it would in some instances. But I just think when you have guys that you can throw out there and that they're gonna do what you need them to do, it makes it a lot easier. And it's almost interesting to me to see if those guys don't go down, do they play six guys all game long when they didn't have to? I think that was really, of course, I'm sure they had a reason for that. But with Bama State cycling in guys, and they didn't play a lot of guys off the bench, a lot of minutes. So it's not that case, but they did have three guys play double digit minutes off the bench, and that's just an opportunity to give guys a breather. Even if it's a minute here, a minute there, it makes it a lot easier for you to kind of adjust and make some things happen. Jackson State ended up shooting 20 of 54 from the field for 37%, 5 of 17 from three for 29%, and 11 of 15 from the line for 73%. Finished with 44 rebounds, so they won the rebounding battle pretty handily. 12 assists, 3 steals, 5 blocks. They had 11 turnovers, again, not a lot, 13 fouls. This game was really physical. They didn't really call a lot of stuff. They had a lot of instances on both ends where I thought they let stuff go that probably should have been fouls, but they let them play. And it ultimately just came down to, who could execute the best at the end. So Bama State gets their first tournament appearance since 2011. We'll see where they go. They're pretty much a lock to be in Dayton on Tuesday or Wednesday. Um, I've been looking at bracketologies and everything, and the teams I think that they got a chance of matching up with are St. Francis of Pennsylvania, Iona, and American University. And most bracketologies have the SWAC matched up with American. So I've been kind of looking at them a little bit. I've been watching a little bit of their games here and there today. I'm gonna probably watch another one before I go to bed tonight. And if that's the matchup, then I'll have a first look at those guys sometime tomorrow night. We will be back tomorrow morning with a SWAC tournament wrap up, where we look at everything that happened as a whole, just general thoughts, not game recaps, but general thoughts on the tournament as a whole. And then, like I said, tomorrow night we'll kind of go over whatever matchups are available for the SWAC in the postseason at this point, and have my first look at whoever the SWAC's first four opponents are. And so that's where we stand. And with that being said, man, I'm the tour guy, Sewell signing out. I'll catch y'all on the rebound, and good night.